So, thinking through in my head here, you have a leader, CEO of a company, you start reading some books, he finds out about conscious capitalism. As you and I have probably both experienced, we have owners, CEOs that go to these conferences and then come back to their company and they say, okay, we're suddenly going to do this. And, they roll their eyes, they think, oh no, another one of those initiatives. But how, what do you obviously go into companies and you help implement that within their companies and change their whole mindset. But how do you usually recommend and just trying to get that, everybody in the company to buy into what this,
Right.
new version of the company looks like?
Yeah, so there's a case study that I've published many different forms recently on a company outside of Boston, and it would be the same approach. And the approach is companies have opportunities, they have issues, they could be challenges that are not so great, or could be something else going on. The way to approach conscious capitalism can be to continue to educate leaders and others on conscious capitalism, but it isn't like saying, okay, let me walk in with my, my binders. Now we're going to implement conscious capitalism, right? That was the old days. We used to joke about that with accountability. Come in with a pile of books and slam them on a conference table. Now we're going to talk about accountability.
Right.
What we're really doing is conscious capitalism is a tool for many companies to begin to make the shift, have a business challenge. So I'm right now pitching to a company in Atlanta, $1.2 billion publicly held company. And they've got some real challenges in this company. And in that particular scenario, we're going to be talking about those challenges and how they could use new novel approaches that will make them relevant. And a big fear I know you and I have as leaders and being entrepreneurs, we fear lack of relevancy for ourselves. That's a big deal. Well, one of the ways to stay relevant is to be looking at what are the new ways in which progressive companies and companies that are doing extraordinarily well solving these problems. So at the end of the day, it's a problem. How are we going to solve it? When we begin to move in that direction, we also begin to learn perhaps that the culture isn't working as well as it could be. Instead of saying, let's go do an entire culture overhaul, let's find out what's not working about it. I use some approaches that not everybody uses, I'll be honest. I'm very much about essentialism and triaging. Right. I want to find out what that real thing is and get really, really deep and find out what that one thing is that if it's done can sustain and have the biggest impact. Once we get that going, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So I'm really not one who likes to go like build this thing conceptually and then go involve the conceptual. There are others in practice who will use the alternative approach. I don't think it's as realistic. And frankly, I think most entrepreneurs would look at me and say, no way.